Hey everyone, we are so excited to the reaction in the community for the pod. I need to take a moment of your time to tell you to please subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or hit the follow button on Spotify. We are in the humble beginning stage of our show and establishing a listener base is of paramount importance and will help us determine the frequency of future episodes. Thanks and enjoy the show. Hey there, Neuse Little Theater folks. Just a disclaimer. This episode might be a little bit more cursy than our previous episode. This is a more PG-13 episode, so if you're listening with your kids in the car, maybe wait to listen to it later. Thank you. Hello and welcome to Neuse Little Podcast, an audio programming discussing the almost 50-year history of Neuse Little Theater and the backstage antics and stories that come along with running a community theater in a small town. I'm your host, Matt Gore, and we are coming to you from NLT's stage and base of operations, the little log cabin located on the banks of the Neuse River in Smithfield, North Carolina. We lovingly refer to it as the Hut. We got a different type of show for you here today during these shifting times and the shifting sands that we live on. We are going to introduce some outside content and some outsiders' perspective going forth in the podcast. If you haven't seen it on the NLT Facebook page, we have decided to shift our upcoming last two shows to the next season and prolong our dark stage just a little bit longer until the world decides to get its act together. And we're getting there, I think. But hey. You know, tomorrow's a new day, and we're all living day to day at this point. So I thought it would be interesting to bring in somebody who is in charge of a theater, and they have been open up since September. They have done two full shows, two full productions during this pandemic, which I think is very impressive by itself. And it's a group called the Gilbert Theater in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And I have here with me today the artistic director of the Gilbert in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and that is Lawrence Carlisle III. Hey, Larry, how's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Thanks for being on the podcast here.
Yeah, no. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So basically, I wanted to get you in here and actually talk about the experiences of you being open during all this, craziness. But before we get to that, I do want to, full disclaimer, I am directing a show for the Gilbert Theater, and by the time you listen to this, it'll probably be up and running. And we do want to put in a quick plug for that. It's going to be Rope, and it's by Patrick Hamilton. And Larry is actually in the cast and doing very well, I might add. He's an excellent actor. And the dates for the show is January 29th to February 14th. That's 3 weekends with 4 shows. So they start at 7:30 and then the 2 o'clock matinee. So we got a Friday at 7:30, Saturday at 2, Saturday at 7:30, and a Sunday at 2. And that's 3 weekends of that. Tickets are $16 and you can get them on the Gilbert website. So now that quick plug is over with. So, Larry, what's your background? How did you become associated with the Gilbert Theater?
Well, I moved to Fayetteville in January of 2002, and I've been there ever since. I moved there with my then the woman that became my wife. And then in 2013, we got divorced, and yeah, that happened. And then in 2015,
it happens.
Yeah, I decided that it was time and that I should try and get back involved in theater because it was something that I had done all through, starting about 8th grade. I did a weird little show at a church in my hometown. And
where are you from? I don't even know that.
Oh, I am from a little city called Wheeling, West Virginia.
Okay.
It is in the northern panhandle of the state of West Virginia.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yes.
This is interesting because we haven't had a chance to talk one-on-one about the things we're going to talk about today. So I'm finding that this is new information.
Yeah. No, the Wheeling is in the northern panhandle of West Virginia, about an hour and a half away from Pittsburgh.
Gotcha.
So if that gives you an idea about, so I had done theater all through high school and all through college and a little bit after college. And then once I moved here and got married, I just kind of stopped, it was a bunch of reasons. and then once things ended, and dealing with the change in my life, like how things were different all of a sudden, and I decided that I needed to try and do it again. One, to prove to myself that I still could, and two, because I didn't. And this came after I went back. I didn't realize how much I had missed it.
Right.
So the first show I did at the Gilbert was Titus Andronicus.
Shakespeare.
Yes.
You have an affinity for Shakespeare, if I'm not mistaken.
I like Shakespeare, and I think it's kind of neat that these stories this dude wrote, like, what is that, like 600?
400 years ago?
Was it? I thought
1600s. So
the 1600s. I thought it was the 1400s, wasn't it?
I
Let's split the difference.
Let's
and call
say
it the
1500s. Yeah, 1500s.
There we go.
We got it.
And that way we're both equally wrong.
got it. Internet verified.
Yeah.
No, Mita's going to check that for us.
Yeah. Oh, she's gonna check. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Sorry. And if I forgot to let you know, we were recording this on a Friday night in Smithfield, North Carolina, so there is going to be some cars and some motorcycles.
Yeah. You're gonna hear some Harley Davidsons, I'm sure.
Yeah. So,
Potato.
Shakespeare was born in 1564.
Nice. Split the difference.
And
nice.
died in 1616.
I award us each half a point.
That's right. Okay. I'll take it. I just think it's kind of neat that these stories that this dude wrote that long ago, people still find new things to do with them. People still find new ways to tell them, and sometimes seeing like a classic interpretation of them, you'll understand it more, or you might take something away from it that you didn't think you would, or that you never had before.
Right.
So yes, I do like Shakespeare. I'm not like all like precious about it, like it's not like ew, bleh. But yeah, no, I like Shakespeare.
Well, and he wrote for the masses. He wrote
Exactly.
for the penny gallery. He didn't write for it to be taught
Yeah,
in
man, like,
school. He taught,
that's-
he went for the gore. He went for the fart jokes.
The dick and fart jokes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Because and if you know me, like, I mean,
you have an affinity for dick and fart jokes.
Yeah, dick and fart jokes, that's my bread and butter, man. That's my sweet spot. But no, yeah, exactly. And the fact that people treat it like this, it's blue. It's like, he's talking about somebody's dick right there, right? Like, you're aware of that. Now the serious ones, yes. No, the serious ones are hella serious. Like, I think Hamlet is fairly serious. I mean, it's got some...
I would say that's a accurate statement.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, because when I think of Hamlet now, all I think of is the complete works abridged.
Yes.
And
That's how I met Larry.
And the ghost. Ooh, mark me.
Well, I met Larry. I decided on a whim to go down to Fayetteville and audition for a play. I wanted to go to a theater where I had zero ties. I knew nobody, and I just wanted to see if I had the chops to still
Exactly.
kind of like you did.
Exactly.
Yeah. I had a not so great experience on my last production at another theater group that was not at Neuse Little Theater.
Let us make that perfectly clear.
I know, he's being very adamant
No,
about that.
right?
Right?
It wasn't here. It wasn't this
No,
place.
it wasn't here. It wasn't here, but I had had a bad experience, and I'm just like, I want to go somewhere where I don't know anybody, and to see if I still have the passion for this, because that last experience sucked a lot of the passion out for me.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, I went down there and I auditioned for this play, and lo and behold, I got one of the 3 roles, and we did. It was one of my favorite rehearsal experiences because it did not remind me of a rehearsal process. It reminded me of a comedy writer's room, and we were just pitching jokes, and whatever was the funniest joke would always win. Whatever the funniest impression would always win. And we were so close. We were about to start Tech Week, and we were right there. The end was in sight, and we got COVIDed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I tried for as long as I could
I
because
know.
I was mad. I'm super mad at this stupid disease.
Yeah.
Like, if I ever see it out and about somewhere,
It's ass.
that's right, man. It's going to say hello to Jack Johnson and Hal O'Leary over here.
Are those the name of your guns, Larry?
Those are both, it's from Anchorman, sorry.
Jack Johnson and Hello Larry.
Yeah, no, I tried as best I could. I kept postponing it, and finally it just was painfully obvious that
Yeah.
it just wasn't going to happen.
Well, with
And-
each passing week, I was just
Yeah,
like, this
exactly.
probably isn't going to happen. You know?
Yeah.
But it was fun, and it introduced me to a lot of very interesting people, and introduced me to.
That's a magnanimous way to put it.
No, I.
Those Gilbert folks, they are interesting.
Yes, quite interesting. But no, I had a good time. That's why I came back for Rope. I just wanted to come.
Yeah.
Back. I just wanted to come back and work with you guys because I had such a good experience.
No, and that's what makes me so mad is because Complete Works Abridged is probably like easily top 5 of shows that I've ever directed that I was, like proud and pleased with, proud of, and like I wanted everyone to see it so bad because it was going to be so, here it comes, funny. And like it bums me out because I like comedy and I like to make people laugh and I like when people laugh.
No, the cast was there. We
Yeah.
had it. We had
Oh,
it. Me
yeah.
and Chris and Wesley were working
All-
so well together.
all 3 of you were so funny together in different ways. Like I've known Chris for basically the entire time I've been in
Yeah.
Fayetteville.
Christopher Walker, who is also in Rope.
Yes, he is in Rope. You should come check it out.
Yeah, he is amazing in Rope. He's an excellent actor.
If you don't mind making like the hour drive, or longer, depending on if you're from somewhere else. But like and I know he's funny, and he and I have the same kind of sensibilities, and so having him in there was a no-brainer. And then when you came in, and just because you read something and you actually like put the emphasis on the right syllable, or you put the emphasis on the right word or something when you were auditioning for a joke, and I heard it and I was like, yes, that's it. That's what I need. I need somebody who understands comedy. And then and then Wesley surprised the shit out of me because
Wesley came a long way.
He came in and he was. I like that kid. He's funny, but and he really worked his ass off to get to get better with the language, because while it's a big goofy comedy,
verse, yeah.
there is still Shakespeare in it that like you guys had to learn, and so just all the work you guys put into it and how good it was going to be and how funny and ridiculous, it just makes me mad.
And there are dozens and dozens of shows that had to go through the exact
Oh yeah,
same
no,
thing.
I know, and I know it sucks for everybody.
Yeah, Never
And
Too Late Here.
Yeah.
Hello Dolly at CST, and Guys and Dolls down there in Benson. They were all just right there.
And CFRT canceled their whole season basically. Like it hit all of us, any arts institutions.
Well, let's
fairly hard.
let's segue into that. Let's talk about how you've been able to actually be open during this pandemic. And what safety implements you have in place, because you guys haven't had any incidents or anything like that. It's been distance, because I went to go see both shows and they were both distanced and everybody was wearing a mask. And so how does that work? Tell me a little bit about that, and tell me a little bit of why it was so important for you to do that.
Well, as awesome as it's been, this was my first year as the artistic director. So, like, not exactly how I wanted to start things off, you know what I mean? Like, with all of a sudden, oh, we can't do anything. So, I took over in December of 2019. And, so well, technically, I guess January. I started in January. But I got the position in December. And so I saw through the last two, the 2 shows from the previous artistic director's season, that was the season that he had chosen, and that, when he left, it was still going on. And that was It's a Wonderful Life and a brand new play called Ruins that was written and directed by a friend of ours, Montgomery Sutton, who actually will be coming back to the Gilbert. I'm plugging Monty now. He'll be coming back to the Gilbert after Rope for our next production, which is Oedipus Rex, which he also wrote the adaptation for. And he's done stuff with the Gilbert before, he's awesome. He lives up in New York and is, like a professional and stuff. So the fact that he wants to come down here and help us do stuff, that's fantastic. But so I saw through his show Ruins that he wrote, and he came in and directed, and then we started into Shakespeare and everything was fine. And after the first lockdown hit, we had multiple conversations with the board, and luckily our education program was able to keep going because we, did the social distancing as much as possible. We had all the kids wearing masks. All of the volunteers and instructors were wearing masks. And this was back before you could go and like get a test real quick, like at a drive-through at Walgreens, I think. Like you couldn't do that back then, could you? In April or May?
No.
No,
you,
they
you
didn't
had
have
to do the long test.
They only had the
Yeah.
lobotomy test.
Yeah,
Where they stick it in
exactly.
your nose.
Brain
yeah,
tickler.
Yeah,
Yeah, the brain
exactly.
tickler. There you go.
But so I mean, March, April, May, like, I mean, you know how it is. You work at you do stuff at a small community theater.
Mm-hmm.
I assume it's a nonprofit, right?
Yes.
I mean, that says it all right there, nonprofit.
Yeah.
Like staying open as a community theater is hard. It's hard work. You have to put on shows. That's how you make, the money to keep yourself solvent and keep yourself going. And so after we did the improv thing, which again, thank you for being part of that too.
No problem. That was our little improv troupe, Rough Business. We did a couple of streaming things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
And everybody was moving into streaming, but another part of, the Gilbert being a small, kind of place is we don't have the equipment or the expertise or, the ability to really do that and do it well.
Right.
Like if I'm going to stream a show onto the internet, which right there makes me sick to my stomach, like because I like theater, and theater is done live in the room with the people.
Right.
And that's what the pandemic has taken from us for the most part.
Yeah,
is that we
there's-
are not able to be in a room with with other people.
Yes.
And
It loses its heart when you don't have a live audience.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it becomes the thing that I hate it when people complain about it or when people make fun of community theater, like this SNL skits.
Waiting for Guffman.
And exactly, like, I don't like it to be like that. And so I said, I don't know, I guess around August, I was like, look, we have to move forward. We have to do something. And it was at a time when, things seemed to be calming down before the holidays, and we weren't losing, 300,000 people every day or whatever it is.
No, well, you mean like the 3,000 people every day? The numbers hadn't quite reached what it was yet, and a lot of people told me around August, like, listen, it's time for us to get our lives on, like, to move on with our lives. We need to stop all this nonsense. And I'm just like, I don't think you guys understand the situation.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
No, but it was basically a question of, do I want to, because this was a fear of mine or a worry of mine, like, do I want to let the Gilbert fail and close under my,
Now this is a ballsy move on your part. I really have to say I'm saying you're gambling here. You're
Yeah.
really gambling, and I
Yeah.
have to admire that. I really do. You're just like, damn it,
like,
the Gilbert ain't gonna go down while I'm here.
yeah, well, I mean, it was,
it
was a question of,
And that ain't gonna be that's not gonna be your fault.
Well, no,
it's
I mean,
gonna be COVID's fault, but still. The name says Artistic Director Lawrence Carlisle III.
Yeah, and that's the problem, because of course I don't want anyone to get sick. Of course I don't want. That's awful. But at the same time, I think community theater is important, and I think it's important enough for me to gamble, or for me to take the risk of it. Now, if anybody else feels the same way, then that's their decision.
Yeah.
I think, you know what I mean? You know, I said it to like every cast, because I directed Barefoot in the Park.
Which was your first show back.
Yeah, which was our first show back. And then one of our former artistic directors, Robin Parrish, came back to direct the Carols, because it was something that she had worked on previously and was, you know, familiar with the show and knew it. And she, you know, she likes to come back too, because she used to be the artistic director for about 4 or 5 years. But I told every cast at the beginning of every, you know, first read-through, look, you know, this may not happen. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to know that at any minute, things could change and this could be canceled. And I also said, and, you know, you all are aware that you're taking a risk by coming and doing this. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, I mean, we do everything we can. You know, we have the seats socially distant. Our theater usually holds about 100 people, and we've taken it down to 25 seats.
Explain how that works, because I'm sure our audience in particular would be interested to hear a little bit how that works.
Well, our theater is in, it's not a traditional theater per se, whereas like here I'm looking at your seats are like attached to the floor, and they're, you know, theater seats.
It wasn't like that for a long time, my friend.
Oh, really? Oh, well, neat. Whereas the Gilbert is upstairs in an old courthouse building in downtown Fayetteville. It's a super funky, weird, cool little found space that they built a stage in like 15 years ago or so.
The first time I went to go use the cast bathroom, I was wandering around the hall. I was like, man, is this like the Overlook Hotel?
Yeah,
like, nothing seems...
it's crazy.
The layout is odd. Like nothing, like on a blueprint, this doesn't make sense.
But what's so fun is it, like, because it's an old building, mm-hmm. and so like it's weird. Like they built them weird back then. They were like, send this hallway down here, and then here's a room right here, and we'll just put it. Yeah.
So like the Winchester House, where you have
exactly.
That go nowhere.
There are stairs that go nowhere.
You just open up a door, it's just concrete wall.
Yeah, it's just a brick wall. Oh yeah, we have one of those. No, so the seats usually are packed in pretty tight, you know, like a normal theater would be, which is how we would be able to seat 100. And so I took one day, I was there by myself, just mad. So I took, you know, 75 chairs out of the theater and, you know, pulled them back into the green room and, you know, stuffed them into storage, and then spread out the rest of the seats, tried to put about 3 or 4 feet in between each seat. And I realized that our best bet was about 25 to 30 seats, which lines up with the governor's mandate, the executive orders, like for, if you look at them, like live entertainment venues like us are allowed to have 30% of capacity. So if capacity is 100, 30% is 30. We go a little less than that at 25, just for people to be comfortable. Because that's the other thing, is I don't want nobody to come because they're all scared. That wouldn't be good. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we started doing that. We spaced the seats out, and then of course, if you come, like if you and 3 of your friends come, of course we'll seat all 4 of your seats together, because you know you obviously know each other, and same with families and stuff like that. But all of the clusters of seats are spaced out at least 4 to 5 feet on every side. After every performance, we basically hose down the entire theater and lobby area with Lysol and wipe down all the chairs. And, you know, I didn't really plan it this way, but luckily both of the casts for those 2 shows that we've been able to do were small. Barefoot in the Park is only 4 people. 5 if you count the delivery person, but he's on stage for like 10 minutes. And 6 if you count the other delivery person, but he was played by me, and he's on stage for 1 minute. So, and then the Carols only had 5, right? Yeah. just the three girls and and the music director who was on stage the whole time.
Yeah, 6 counting the music director.
6 counting the music director. And for that show, and for both that show and Barefoot, we, did rehearsal in masks, just like we're doing for Rope.
Yep.
And then in talking to the board, we came up with the idea, they came up with the idea to do one day of performances in masks. And I thought that was awesome. I thought that was a great idea because that would make, one of our board members said that would make her more comfortable. Like she wouldn't be comfortable being in a room if the actors weren't masked. So we found some creative ways to do Barefoot in the Park while the cast was wearing full face shields. So that was fun.
Well, the face shield thing, when I went to go see the Carols, they were wearing the face shields during the performance. And at first, it was jarring and something you had to get used to. However, if you've gone to see a lot of plays or you've just watched you've consumed a lot of entertainment, your brain will adjust.
Yeah, exactly.
Your brain will adjust after about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
Yeah,
but the face shields for Barefoot were the
Were
big,
they the welder's
full ones.
mask?
Yeah, the big welder's ones.
Yeah, we were looking into that because
Yeah.
when we were thinking about doing Never Too Late, we knew we probably would have to do something, and so
Yeah.
I've been looking into I was looking into the ones that have the glasses attached, so they fit on your nose and go over your ear, so they don't have the band across your forehead.
Yeah.
So that's what I was looking at, but I knew other theaters had used them. I just didn't know how well they worked.
I mean, they're okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is like I like the idea, and we did fairly well with all of our mask performances, as far as audience numbers and everything. But part of me just hates it because it ruins it a little bit for me.
Yeah.
It just chips away at the illusion just a little bit and because to me the idea is when you come to see a show, you should be able to forget about what's bothering you or what's going on in your life outside because you're coming for us to tell you a story for 2 hours. That's all it is we're going to tell you a story. And hopefully, you laugh or you cry or you freak out or whatever the intention is. Hopefully that's what happens. But when the actors have the masks on and the audience, because we ask them to keep their masks on for the entirety of the performance, and the concessions, the way we do it is different, and so it all just helps to keep reminding people and reminding me that, we're dealing with this awful, deadly thing that is being a real bitch.
Yeah, you can't do your traditional put your problems at the door for roughly 2 hours and enjoy something. And
Exactly.
Then, yeah.
And like you can't go to a concert, you can't go to the movie theater, you can't go to anywhere, and so
You can go to the movie theater, but it again, it's like what Mita said earlier. I'm like, I went to go see a movie. The first time I was in a movie theater was to go see a reissuing of Halloween on Halloween night at the Alamo Drafthouse in Raleigh, and I enjoyed it. It was the first time I'd been in a movie theater in 9 months, but like Mita said, I'm like, no, the heart is gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. This is like diet movie theater. It's just there's just not as much energy in the room.
Yeah.
With those few people.
Even if you're 10 feet away from somebody, so you don't have to wear your mask inside the movie theater, or they don't make you wear your mask inside the movie theater. The problem is you've only got 20, 25, 30 people in the movie theater. It's just not the same as when you go to see a movie with a group of people and you're all experiencing. I mean, it's the same with the live theater. You're all experiencing the same thing at the same time.
We are all together in this moment right
There's
here,
an
right
energy
now.
to it.
Exactly.
And I mean, it's the same, a ball game with
Yeah. And
nobody there.
Yeah, sporting events where no one can go. And so, but I just decided that we were going to go ahead and we were going to take every precaution that we possibly could. And we were going, I asked all my casts to not isolate themselves, but the same thing I said to the Rope cast, try and keep your circle small.
Don't take unnecessary risks.
Don't take unnecessary risks. Because, some people might look at you and say that this, doing a show is an unnecessary risk.
Correct.
So And I know we all have jobs and we all have to see people and, go and do things and et cetera, et cetera. But, just be aware, wash your hands, wear your mask when you go places, et cetera, et cetera. And, everybody in Barefoot and in the carols, I had one of the girls from the carols tell me that, like, look, we knew what we were signing up for. We know that it's a possibility. We are aware, but we feel like we need, and that was the other thing, is that by that time it had been like a solid 6 or 7 months, and I would talk to people, who usually like to come and do shows, some of our regulars, and they just talked about how much they miss being on stage, or they just miss doing something. They just miss and it's the
That's how this podcast happened.
Exactly. It's the creative impulse can't be, smushed.
Yeah.
So I decided and I mean, it might have been, impetuous, but I was like, look, either if we don't start doing some shows, the Gilbert's going to close. That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. And, I'm not going to let that happen. So,
Well,
luckily now, we got the vaccine on the horizon. So, I mean, and I know things aren't going to go back to normal just like that. I'm not an idiot. Well, I mean, I am, but but the vaccine, I think, is a bright spot coming up. And I'm hoping that by the end of this season, things will slowly start to, chug back to some kind of state of new normal.
yeah.
Where we can start having, maybe not full-size audiences, but, 50%.
50%.
Or
Something worth your while. Yeah.
60 or 70%.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing, like, I mean, do I want the shows to sell out? Oh, well, yeah, all the time. If they don't, that's okay. More than anything, I want the people that do come to enjoy what they see and to be entertained by it or surprised or moved or scared or whatever. Like, that's, like I said, it's because, and I felt like not only did my actors and people that do stuff with us, I felt like they needed it, but I also felt like there were people in the community and there was an audience that also needed it, or that needed it just as much.
Yeah, and it's a fine line, because, I mean, I know I would be all gung-ho. I'd be like, I think it's worth the risk, and I would be willing to take the precautions to do it, but be willing to go ahead and do it. But there's also going to be people who, your longtime veteran actors or your longtime, like, members of the theater who are just going to go, I can't until I'm 100% sure. And so I completely understand that, and it's a weird tightrope to walk.
And I mean, we have, I've had multiple people, and I say the same thing to every one of them. It's just like, dude, I get it. It's cool. Like, I ain't mad at you about it. Like, if you don't feel comfortable, of course I don't want you to come. Like, if you don't feel comfortable, don't feel like, you need to put yourself in danger if that's how you feel. Like,
You don't need to prove anything.
Yeah, you don't have to prove anything. Like, and it's not like I'm going to blacklist you and be like, oh, F that guy. He could have come out and auditioned during COVID, but he didn't.
No.
We'll see. It's like, I'm like, anybody that was like, I just don't feel comfortable. I'm like, I get it. I mean, I'm not exactly comfortable with it, but,
Right. Yeah. There's never going to be 100% comfortable, because there's just always this underlying.
Yeah.
It's just this sort of this thing. Is this the noblest or stupidest thing we've ever done?
Yeah. Exactly. Like.
Well, and I know COVID is not the flu, but every year we do a show this time of year, and everybody in the cast gets sick.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I understand that I mean, there's a risk there too. So it's so easy to just, when you end up with the same people around each other, and luckily the nice thing about, I mean, if you take one silver lining out of this whole thing, is people started washing their hands and covering their mouth when they cough.
And staying 6 feet away from me.
Well, I
I
would
mean,
like that debate all the time.
most
but-
people did that anyway. But I mean, like,
That was just necessity.
yeah, people just had to like,
But,
Honey, don't look at that. Oh, don't look at that hobo over there.
get away from him. Why? Reasons.
so,
Yeah,
yeah, but when you spend 6 weeks or however long you spend with, during rehearsals, with the same people and you breathe the same air and you're in each
Yeah.
other's faces and you're making out with them because you have a kissing scene or something. Yeah, you pass a lot back and forth, so there's a risk.
Yeah,
There's
oh, yeah.
always been a risk.
There's
We just
always a
never really
risk.
thought about it until
I mean,
now.
I worry a little bit about rope with all the glasses and stuff.
Yeah, it's a drinky show.
It's a really drinky, and I'm like, I'm gonna have one glass. And I'm gonna keep my eye on that puppy the whole time.
That's right.
You're like,
And-
where's my cup?
Yeah. Where's my sippy cup?
So
I did learn that washing the dishes after every show does cut down on the illnesses that go around.
You don't say.
well, I don't know. That sounds like pseudoscience to me.
No information to back that up.
Witchcraft.
Yeah. All right. Well, enough about COVID. All right. Let's move on to let's close it out by talking about the rest of your season. Now, you talked about Oedipus Rex.
Yes.
Remind me what that's about.
Oedipus Rex is a Greek tragedy, and it recounts the story of Oedipus, who, again, spoilers, but then again, the show's like 2,000 years old, so if you haven't heard of it, then I can't really help you. That's on you, but it's on you by this time. But basically, a king and his pregnant wife, he gets a prophecy that his son will grow up to kill him, steal his throne, and then have sex with his wife, which is also the kid's own mother. So
Cool.
yeah, I know, right?
guess.
So a family affair. is that
Exactly.
yeah.
So the king is like, well, F that noise. And so he takes the kid and he chucks him out in the woods and just leaves him there to die. And then goes back to, whatever. So a kindly sheep herder, somebody, I don't know, finds the baby, names him Oedipus, takes him home with him, and he and his wife raise him as their own son. When Oedipus is all grown up, and by ancient Greek standards, I guess that was what, like 9?
9, 10, 11, 12.
Something like that.
He already had
Yeah.
4 kids.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. When Oedipus grows up, and he gets that same prophecy that his father got, only the prophecy is, because it's about him, he gets told, you will kill your father and marry your mother. Well, he doesn't know that the people that he thinks are his father and mother are not his biological parents, so he runs away. And while on the road, he meets the king from his actual father. They get in a big fight, and he kills him. And then he goes to the city. He saves the city from the Sphinx by answering its riddles. At least I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And then,
Cool little side quest.
lo and behold, exactly. And then lo and behold, he marries the queen, who is his mother.
What happens next, Larry? What happens next in this story?
So that
And
would
then-
be the Cliff Notes version.
And then he stabs his eyes out and goes to live in a cave for the next 50 years. But no, and also understand that that's the Wikipedia Greek myth. That's the story.
The bare bones.
Right, but Monty, who's directing it, is also writing his own adaptation of it, and I already know that it's going to be different and going to have some focus on some different things, and it's going to deal with the things that he wants to talk about, the things that he wants to focus on. It's going to have some songs, I think, which is cool. So yeah, no, I'm pretty excited about that, and also it's just. I'm a big Greek mythology nerd. I was from the time I was in 6th grade, through high school, and I really like the idea of oftentimes when taking the road to avoid your fate, that road leads you right to it anyway.
Interesting. You got all poignant on me, Larry.
No, I just think that's neat. Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
That's some,
Well, yeah, I mean, because if you look at it, if his dad hadn't thrown him
Yeah.
yeeted him up and
No, if his
threw him
dad had
into the
just
woods.
finished the job, he wouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, that
Exactly.
too.
Yeah.
But if his dad had just it just kept him.
But also, Oedipus
Would that have
tries to evade his fate by running away from who he thinks are his parents. Whereas if he had bothered to ask them, "Hey, are you my dad?" and the guy would have been like, "Nah, I found you in the woods." He'd be like, "Oh, sweet."
He
And then
uncovers like
wouldn't
the alien spacecraft in the barn and goes like, "Son."
Yeah, he wouldn't have had to go. He wouldn't have had to go anywhere.
A nice sheep farmer life.
Yeah.
And
He'd
grown
have just
up
been
and married
like,
a nice
he'd have just been
little
like,
milkmaid.
"Paw, make sure I don't kill any strange men."
I'm like, okay,
And I'm like, "All right, you got it." buddy."
careful, don't have sex with your mom.
So, but yeah, no, I just I like that. I like that level of cosmic irony.
Okay, moving on to your season finale, which is Urinetown. I don't know the story. I've heard of Urinetown, but I don't know.
Town's fun.
Yeah. So tell me about it.
Pretty much the only thing I can remember, I've seen it once, and that's about it. But that you have to pay to use the bathroom because water is there's a shortage of water.
The thing about it is like, I picked it because first of all, it's a dystopian musical. It takes place in like an alternate
Yeah.
reality where there's this crazy water shortage, so no one is allowed to have private toilets. You're
You're also not allowed to pee just out anywhere.
Yeah, and you
have
can't
to go to
pee
the
out in
public
public.
toilet.
You have to go to the public toilets, and you have to pay to use them. And the company that there's a company that like makes those pay toilets, and the name of the company is Urine Good Company.
Ha ha ha.
I mean, come on, man. That's so stupid. It's got to be funny. It's and also if they do catch you peeing, not in one of their pay toilets, but like if you just like pee out in an alley or something like that, they will arrest you and send you to Urinetown, which is like a prison camp, I guess. I don't know. But I just thought it sounded ridiculously funny. And again, like we said earlier, dick and fart jokes, those are, my bread and butter.
Well, and as a what's the word I want? A endorsement of the show. Steven actually liked it when we went and saw
Ooh, now when Steven likes the show, that is a good endorsement.
it. Steven's not a big musical guy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm not really either, but I know that that's what I have to. I know that I have to program some musicals because those are the money.
Those are the money makers.
Those are the money makers, baby.
One for you, one for me. One
No,
for you,
One for you, one for me. That's exactly right.
Steven will openly tell you that it was a good show except for all the music and all the singing.
I get it.
Keeps him awake. He can't sleep if there's all that singing.
Oh yeah, he'll
going
fall
on.
asleep. He will. If they come see the rope, I've already made peace with the fact that he'll fall asleep. It's okay. It's okay.
The lights go out, so does Steven.
Oh no, We'll slam that trunk extra.
Do it.
extra
Do it.
loud.
We consider it a rave review if Steven stays awake for the whole show.
Wow. Okie dokie.
He's a napper. That's
He's
Steven.
also our stage manager and has been known to sleep through our shows.
What? That is outrageous. How dare you? Yeah.
He doesn't snore, does he?
Not loud,
Okay,
no.
okay.
And I usually elbow him. When
As
he
long
does.
as I can't hear him snore, I'm fine.
Well, my favorite one of that is when he, during Night of the Iguana, when he rolled over and showed his self to the entire audience.
Yeah.
when
He fell asleep backstage and just was like kind of rolled over and like, hey, there's Steven in the back of the scene. Hey, Steven. What's up, buddy? You doing all right? I'm sure Tony loved that.
Welcome to Neuse Theater.
Good stuff.
Okay, Larry. Before we close it out, what's give me 2 or 3 plays that you really want to do at the Gilbert that you just haven't got around to doing yet? What's like on your list? Like we got to do this eventually.
Oh, like wish list
Yeah.
kind of thing?
Yeah. Because you're having a very eclectic mix there. I don't know what your past seasons were, but I've seen a lot of different shows where I'm just like, you guys have done a bunch of different type of shows, so you could really do anything.
Yeah. That's one of the cool things about the Gilbert. It's been around for such a long time. I think this is the 27th year,
Yeah.
I think. That like, they'll do, real kind of mainstream stuff, or maybe not mainstream, but popular. Like they did Rent one year. in that space, which I still find amazing. They've done
Yeah.
Streetcar Named Desire. We did Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. We've done the Laramie Project. We've done You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. They did Young Frankenstein, the musical.
Wow, on
Like,
that stage?
Yeah, exactly.
Show me how.
And we did, yeah, I know. And we did August Osage County. And
That play has 2 floors on the set.
yeah, well,
or something crazy.
Yeah, we did Evil Dead the musical, which is supposed to have. We did Evil Dead the musical, which is supposed to have like a basement, so that we had it wasn't. It was on stage, but that show was whew, we had like spraying blood and blood cannons and like fake chainsaws and headless people, and Linda had to get her head cut off at one point, and then it turns around and talks like an Evil Dead
Yeah.
2, I think it is. So that's one of the things I love about it, is that we do stuff that everybody's like, oh, sweet, but then we also do stuff that people are like, wait, what? What
Yeah.
the hell is that? So I want to kind of try and ride the line between those two things, and I like some classics and I like some weirder stuff, but things that I would definitely like to do, I would love to do Dracula, a stage version of Dracula, as long as it's a decent adaptation.
I was gonna say you have to be really careful with
Yeah.
Dracula. It can be really campy.
Yeah, oh
if
yeah.
not done
But
exactly right.
honestly, sometimes I don't mind that, and I think we could lean into it a little bit with that.
Well, I do have to say, of all the versions, because we actually did a Dracula, and we also did one called Dracula Bites, which is it's the whole campy side.
That's a
of things.
spoof of.
Yeah,
all
It
right.
was about a community theater doing Dracula, so it was
okay.
really
And
silly.
it all goes wrong.
Yeah, of course.
But probably the best adaptation I read when we were trying to decide what we were going to do when we did Dracula, it was Dracula the musical.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know.
And my favorite part of that is there's this whole bit where when they look in the mirror, Dracula, like people look in the mirror and they see the reflection, but when Dracula looks in the mirror, he doesn't see his reflection. But in order to do that, they did, in the back of the book, the author says, my favorite version of doing this was they looked into the mirror, which was just a hole, I think, with a frame. He said, and they held up a cutout of the face of the person. And so when Dracula came out and looked in the mirror, it was a stick. Like, so like,
Ah, ah.
I just
Blah.
thought it was funny.
So I mean, yeah, I would like to do Dracula. For some reason, I have this desire to do Waiting for Godot, just because. And a lot of times, stuff that I think about doing is like, what weird radical thing can we do with the stage? Because, I mean, as you know, Vicky is a machine.
Yeah, Vicky's your.
Vicky is my technical director, and she is amazing. And one of the things that I love about her the most is that she wants me to challenge her. She wants me to pick stuff that she's like, how are we gonna do that? So that's like the best thing you can ask for in a technical director, is somebody that's like, you want to do what? Oh, that sounds awesome. Because I'm trying to get her to figure out how to build a rotating stage thing for me.
Oh, we can tell you how to do that.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, we've done one here
Done one here? Oh,
for
okay.
Death of a Salesman and Witness for the
Witness
Prosecution.
for the prosecution.
Nice,
We
nice.
had 2 on
We
Witness for
had 3 for witness of the
3
prosecution.
for Witness for the Prosecution. 3 rotators. Yeah. Yeah.
So, no, I would like to do Dracula. I'd like to do Waiting for Godot. As far as like fun musicals, I was in a production of Little Shop of Horrors in college, and I remember it being super fun, and I would love to do that. There's a British play called Ghost Stories. It was one of the first things that I looked into, trying to get the rights for it to do, because I wanted to do it really bad. Because one of the things that I like, and it's one of the reasons I picked Rope, is thrillers or suspense, and I feel like you don't see a lot of plays like that.
Yeah.
Like mostly you get you get your musicals, you get your comedies, you get your family dramas, you get your relationship dramas, that kind of stuff. You don't really see too much like genuinely either creepy or scary or tense and suspenseful stuff. And but this ghost stories play, the rights aren't even available in America. So it's like, well, crap.
Well, those types of shows are really hard to do. We did Haunting of Hill House,
Really?
and it's really, they tend to be very talky.
Yeah.
But-
Oh yeah. We're in rope. I'm in rope. You ain't gotta tell me about that. About
They
talking.
talk a lot. They talk a lot in rope.
We talky.
But yeah,
all
no,
the
but
time.
yeah, Haunting of Hill House is a good one. It's Shirley Jackson.
Yeah.
So-
We did Wait Until Dark, and one of the things I loved about Wait Until Dark is, like, yeah, there's this whole somewhat convoluted plot and setup, but the whole last 20 minutes is a slasher film on stage.
Yeah.
That's what I truly embraced that when we were doing it. I was like, do you realize that this is like a horror movie on stage, and
Yeah.
you can't, like, there's no plays that aren't supernatural that do that. So I told her, embrace that. It's like a
Yeah.
horror movie, you know?
Yeah.
Matt kept screaming for more blood, even though it was in the pitch black.
More blood! More blood!
Give
No.
me more blood.
No, the actors can see it, so it helps their performance. No,
Yeah.
I would not have done as much blood now knowing what I know.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that was only my second show. I was just like, it's got to be bloody, Mita. You don't understand. They got to see it.
There was a whole lot of cleanup for not a lot of payoff.
Oh yeah.
Dakota loved cleaning up that.
Yes, he did.
Whatever, and I chipped in several nights as well. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up right there, ladies and gentlemen.
okay.
Thank you, Larry.
I was just getting started.
I know, right?
I was about to tell you a bunch of bawdy stories.
Next time, because next time. We'll have you back. We'll have you back because this has been a really fun little hour we've done here, and I thank you for making the trip down or up from Fayetteville.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
You'll have to come see a show here when we're back up and running for sure.
Yes, I would very much like that.
All right. Credits for the shows. I'm your host and creator, Matt Gore, and our producer is Mita Toole, and music is by Cody Walker. Please like, subscribe, and follow to @CodyWalkerMusic. All right. For Neuse Little Theater, I am Matt Gore, and we'll talk to you later.